Okay, in this tutorial, we're going to take a look at the concept of dummy clips. So a dummy clip is essentially an audio clip where we don't hear the audio, but we are using automation inside the clip to control various parameters in live. Now, we've already covered clip automation as a tip on our Facebook page. If you haven't checked out the page yet, it's facebook.com/quantize courses. There's loads of tips and tricks, videos, exclusive content on there. And also we do a very similar thing with the Twitter page, which is twitter.com/quantize courses. So it'd be great to have you as part of the community there. For this tutorial, it's going to be much easier if we dive straight in to see the dummy clips in action. I've set up a loop to get us going. So the first thing we want to do is set up an audio bus. So we'll open up an audio track, rename that as dummy, and then we're going to bus all of our different sounds, which are kick, bass, and a drum loop, to this one track. So shift highlighting allows us to simultaneously change the audio outputs. Let's send those to the dummy track and click monitor in. So you can see they're now all routed through this track. So we now need to add a dummy clip to this to start using some automation. You can use any audio clip you like for this. I'm just going to grab one that we've already got in the project, copy that across, and then I'm going to remove the audio here. Now you can either turn it down using the clip volume, or my personal preference to completely clear the waveform so you're 100% sure of what the clip is doing is to increase the length. Just highlight a section at the end here that's blank. This is 1 bar. We'll loop that up, right click and select crop sample. And then it's very clear what's happening. As it is with the monitor settings, we wouldn't hear this audio anyway, but it's just really nice visually to see what's going on. So the next step is to add some actual automation. We'll keep it simple. We're going to modulate the track fader. So if we click on this, it's automatically selected for us in the clip view. And let's change our resolution to 1/8 of a bar. And I'm going to select the pencil and we'll draw something in here. This, for example. So you'll be able to see here by the orange dot that this is being modulated. So without the dummy clip, and then with. And the great thing about this is we can now create a bunch of these. So let's draw in one that's a bit more erratic, just duplicating these out. Let's change the grid to 16ths for this one. And have this one running faster. And let's do one more and let's make this a triplet grid actually. So you can see now, because it's triplets, this isn't lining up right. It's going to be much quicker to clear the envelope. And start drawing this in. Now I want to be able to jam between these quite quickly. So I'm going to change the global quantize from 1 bar to 1/4 of a bar, just to allow us to quickly flick through them and we can get this kind of effect happening. Okay, got to watch out for things like that at the end to make sure there's none of those going on elsewhere, because it's essentially left the volume fader turned down. Let's run with that again. And so on. So you can see that quickly you can amass a whole bunch of these dummy clips. And as I said, they don't have to be using just the volume. You could literally throw any kind of effects that you want onto the track as well, set up filters, distortion, anything you like. And the great thing about this is you could leave this in your default set, for example, with loads of different clips with interesting automation pre-made. And of course, you can route anything you want. We've gone for every single part of the audio we've got, but we could just send the bass to this, for example, or a lead if you've got one. So the next step will be to record this over. So let's click record and just quickly jam something in. So we can see from looking over here on the arrange page that it's recorded in what I've done. And if you've made any mistakes, anything you're not particularly happy with, it's really easy just to go in, make any adjustments. You could, of course, just drag these clips over and do it that way rather than recording it if you prefer. And then the final step in this example, because we're going to kind of use this as fills, if you like, we could actually record this to audio. So let's set up an audio track, have the dummy as our input. And let's just record just these sections. At which point the dummy track can be turned off because we no longer need it. And of course, as these are our fills, we don't need any of that original information in there. And you've now got some fills that you can, of course, further edit down, play around with, do as you wish. So you can see that there's a really sort of vast number of applications that you could use this for. There's far more advanced routings involving sends and returns and all kinds of exciting stuff that can be done with dummy clips. But hopefully that's just given you a kickstart in this area and something to play with both in your productions and your performance. As always, any comments are welcome. Take care.